So sometimes it's worthwhile to take the advice of a guy with a cat poster on his wall. Or a girl with a little black bear on her shelf. Hey everybody, welcome to Mainely Movies. As part of my coverage of the 2023 Toronto International Film Festival, today I'm going to be talking about the 2023 comedy drama, Dumb Money. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content like reviews, rank lists, and trailer reactions. All my reviews include a breakdown of the pros and cons, my rating, and some tailored film recommendations, so be sure to watch through to the end of this video for all of that extra content. Dumb Money stars Paul Dano, Pete Davidson, and Seth Rogen, and was directed by Craig Gillespie. Based on Ben Mesrick's 2021 book, The Antisocial Network, it tells the story of Keith Gill and his involvement in the 2021 GameStop short squeeze. Movies based on true stories are nothing new. Whether biopics about people or films about real events, Hollywood has been full of them for decades. Part of the allure of these types of stories is learning about some unbelievable true tale. But a challenge of based on a true story films is that the audience may already know the details of the story or the outcome, which might influence their desire to even watch the film. This is even more of a challenge when the true story is recent. And in the case of Dumb Money, the true story is about as recent as you can get with a major studio release. The GameStop short squeeze happened only 2.5 years ago, so it's still very fresh in the minds of most audience members, many of whom might have been directly involved. So turning this story into a compelling film was even more challenging than the typical based on a true story tale. Whether you're familiar with the GameStop short squeeze situation or not, this little guy sticking it to the man story is understandably easy to get behind. We're presented with Keith Gill, an ordinary guy with an interest in finance and live streaming, who becomes an unexpected leader in an equally unexpected financial mini-revolution. The film also pads things out with various people from across the country. A nurse, some college students, a cashier at a GameStop in the mall. It gives us small glimpses into these people's lives, and into their financial journey as part of this event, to really hammer home the ordinary, everyman quality of the story. We don't get many full character arcs here, or any complete stories, but we do get a feel for how widespread this event was, and the dramatic impact, for better or worse, it had on the lives of so many people. Like all fictionalized accounts of true stories, this film picks and chooses exactly which details to present to us. It's not a complete picture. Not of Keith Gill's life, none of the circumstances leading up to the GameStop short squeeze, and none of the financial intricacies or aftermath of the whole scenario. Instead, it's a crowd-pleasing Cliff Notes version of it all. The movie isn't interested in explaining or detailing the financial nitty-gritty of the story. If you come into Dumb Money with minimal knowledge about stocks, shorting, or investing, you're probably not going to come out of it with much actionable information. But that's not the focus here. This is an archetypal David and Goliath story. And even if you don't understand the financial nuances of the whole thing, you're still bound to find yourself rooting for the little guys, which is one of the main takeaway points of the film. Dumb Money boasts a sharp and funny script, which, when combined with its propulsive pacing, makes for an energetic and extremely engaging watch. Although the movie's got some of the expected biopic and true event stylistic components, it's also extremely representative of the internet culture central to its story. Reddit posts, TikToks, memes, emojis, and more fill the screen at various points. This is an important component of the style, and works really well up to a certain point, but does start to trend towards gimmicky and overdone after a while. Luckily, this fast-paced movie never gets bogged down in anything, and breezes through its entertaining story in a compelling and uplifting way. This movie's got a stacked cast, and honestly, everybody works pretty well in their roles here, but the standout is definitely Paul Dano. I was never involved in the short squeeze, so I have no idea if Dano does an accurate job of portraying the real Keith Gill, but at least in terms of this fictionalized version of the guy, he does a great job. Like I said before, this is an energetic and fast-paced movie, and without the right person in this central role, it could have been too much. But Dano brings a surprising sense of earnest calmness to the film that really helps to balance things out while still keeping it all fun. Because at the end of the day, that's what this movie is. fun. Yeah, it tells an interesting underdog story that had very real financial ramifications, but it tells that story in a crowd-pleasing, fun, and accessible way that makes for an enjoyable time at the theater. Alright, let's talk about the pros and cons. Pro number one is how fun this movie is. That might sound like a very simple, positive feature to have, but it's a very effective one here. Based on a true story, films, biopics, and the like have a tendency to be fairly serious affairs, but Dumb Money is definitely not a film that takes itself very seriously. Instead, it presents its underdog story in a funny and crowd-pleasing way that makes it both accessible to general audiences and very easy to get behind. It's breezy and never gets too bogged down in its financial technicalities, instead opting for an enjoyable and feel-good condensation of the real events. The second pro has gotta be the performances. This film features a lot of characters. Everybody from the billionaire hedge fund managers to Keith Gill and his family to everyday people making investments based on YouTube videos and a subreddit. Many of those roles are fairly limited in this film, but everybody did a good job and felt well cast. The big standout for me, though, was Paul Dano as Keith Gill, aka Roaring Kitty. He was able to inject a sense of level-headed calm into this wild and fast-paced story. And he was also funny and believable as a nerdy guy who liked to create cat-filled financial live streams while eating chicken tenders in his basement. On the con side, my only real issue is something that's only partly an issue, and that's just how heavily the film leans into its internet culture stylization. So, in part at least, I don't have a problem with this aspect of the film. It's a movie about a short squeeze that was led by a live streamer and popularized and organized on Reddit, so of course the film is going to incorporate that. The memes, the rallying cries, the social media platforms, they were all part of how this true story came to be. Plus, they set the movie solidly within its time period. Where the partial con aspect of this comes into play is with the moments of over-reliance on this stylization. It takes it a little too far at times, which will slightly alienate viewers who aren't already familiar with the subculture, and will likely prematurely make this movie feel dated. Before I give you my rating and recommendations, I want to remind you that if you're interested in buying Dumb Money or any of the other films I mentioned today, I do have affiliate links for all of them in the description below. I get a small commission from anything you buy using one of my links, so I'd really appreciate it if you'd use them if you're in the market for any of these movies. I'm gonna give Dumb Money 3.5 out of 5 paws. It's an energetic and engaging crowd pleaser. Although it leans a little too heavily on its internet-based stylization at times, it effectively portrays its familiar underdog story in a way that'll have audiences rooting for the little guys, even with the true story still so fresh in their minds. Definitely worth investing a few hours of your time in. I would recommend Dumb Money to people who like breezy comedy dramas, especially ones based on true stories. The basic underdog story is a familiar one, but this is a crowd-pleasing movie that focuses more on telling its tale in a fun and accessible way than it does on getting hung up on the factual nitty-gritty. If you want a comprehensive look at this unique financial event, then a documentary might be more to your liking. But if you want a funny and enjoyable, star-studded Cliff Notes romp that never takes itself too seriously, this fun and breezy movie will certainly entertain. If you liked Dumb Money, I would recommend The Big Short. This is another very stylized film that looks at a short, this time of the housing market leading up to the 2007 crash. It features another star-studded ensemble cast, but is much more technical in its explanations and much less feel-good. If you want another social media based on a true story movie, you might want to watch The Social Network. Both this film and Dumb Money are based on books written by Ben Mesrick, and portray their respective recent tech-based true stories in compelling and accessible ways. The tones are a little different, but there is an unexpected Winklevoss twin connection. And if you're interested in another energetic and stylized depiction of a true story, you should check out I, Tonya. This extremely kinetic film was also directed by Craig Gillespie and presents an entertaining version of figure skater Tonya Harding's life story in a mockumentary biopic style. Alright, a couple questions for you guys. Number 1, have you seen Dumb Money? If so, what'd you think of it? And number 2, what's your favorite movie about Wall Street? Be sure to leave your answers in the comments below so we can get a discussion going. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insight, or information out of this review, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe while you're at it to see more videos like this. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainly Movies, the way life should be.